see the way they hate. And I know better than to listen to the people who are calling us slaves. I can feel the sunlight shining.
Well, good morning, everyone. My name's Brian, and today is Thursday, September 5th, 2024, and this is episode 767 of the Lost Project podcast, and it's titled Feel the Funk. I'll be chatting about the post-sickness funk, buying mattresses, random fires, and more. First, let's grab a cup of coffee, head on over into the live chat, see who's hanging out in the coffee crew, and hang out for about an hour. Good morning. Good morning. How is everyone today? Pip in early plays White Boy Funk on Spotify. I hope you enjoyed your morning, Pip, as you got rolling there on the forklifting duty. How was the White Boy Funk? Probably better than the funk I'm talking about. Rewilder Life in. Good morning to you, Rachel. Chilly there again in Michigan, and coffee with freshly ground cocoa beans. Cocoa beans. Is it cocoa? Cocoa? That sounds rather good. I don't know if I've ever had fresh coffee with fresh ground beans also. Good morning, Jim. How we doing? Thanks for popping in, and I assume I'll see you pop up here on Nostr any second now. And there it is. What do I got in the cup today? I got more of that FTO blonde espresso from Food Forest Farms. The stuff is absolutely fantastic. It's always been one of my favorite blends that Brian sent out. Towards the beginning, he sent it out. I was like, "What is this?" The names don't line up. They didn't click with me before I really understood coffee after being educated by Brian. I'm thinking espresso. I worked at a Caribou. I was a barista. I pulled espresso shots. I had ingrained in my brain that espresso was a dark bean that you made super concentrated and bitter, and that is not the case. The FTO Blonde Espresso is a beautiful, beautiful blend for a full drip brew, French press, or pour over. You should check it out today. Excuse me, at foodforestfarms.com. You can check out that and all the other blends that Brian has there, all the other roasts and origins of beans that he carries. And you should check out the C4 Club, which is a fantastic monthly coffee club with just fantastic pricing on premium coffee. And there's so much more in the club. You got to check it out at foodforestfarms.com. Check out that C4 Club or just grab a pound to try today. 10% off, lots 10, LOTS10. Get you 10% off and always free shipping at foodforestfarms.com. Check it out today. It's Thursday, guys. Excuse me. Still have a producing cough, so that's good. It hasn't set back in on me. A little bit more Mullen therapy last night, and I think that is spurring to the coffee in this morning. It's not been it hasn't been horrible. I really think that the Mullen is helping. We did another glass of tea last night before bed, and as soon as I drank it, I could feel a little bit of loosening in my chest. I could feel my lungs kind of settling down a little bit, and it wasn't long. It wasn't long where I was getting that little that kind of thing going on, and then coughing a little bit. It wasn't horrible to lay down in bed, and then in the morning is really when everything is kind of loosened up and is ready to come out. So excuse me. Rewilder Life paid taxes last night times 3. Thanks, tax man. Oh man, Rachel says it. Coffee. It's what's for breakfast. It's what's for breakfast. Jim's digging into some Food Forest Farms Clyde blend. Clyde blend is something that we came up with. Brian and I actually we came up with blends associated with each of our St. Bernards. Walter, before he passed, and Norman and Clyde each have their own blend over there at the Food Forest Farms website. Check it out. Check it out. It's good stuff. Along with the get shit done, the GSD blend, and the Silver Bullet blend, and much more. So the title of the show today, Feel the Funk, was just something I wanted to touch on after yesterday. Excuse me. It's gonna be one of those days, guys. It's just sneaking up on me. It's sitting up high in my chest, and I can feel it. Like I can feel like I wanna just let her rip and get this out of here finally. But I think after 2 weeks, the build up in my chest is so ingrained that it's going to take a while to get out. And I kind of wanted to talk about that first thing. Yesterday, I felt great in the morning. I woke up. I had producing cough. I felt good for the show. We had a good time. Kept rolling. The brain fog seemed to be gone. And I felt like I was going to have a really productive day. There it is. I felt like I was going to have a really productive day, and I got rolling. I had a big to-do list I wanted to do. I wanted to get caught up on some videos. I headed out to Delinquent Scully, where I've been filming the majority of my videos just for surroundings sake. It's quieter. It's I can focus a little bit more. It's just a more pleasant place to do the recordings than in the neighborhood here outside the camper. And I don't really have a lot of room in the camper to do it. So it's been a struggle since we moved into this arrangement, and trying to do videos here. And when I was able to go out to Delinquent Scully and the cabin out there that we've gotten up, and use that space to record videos, it got much easier. And there's less distractions out there. I go out, I don't have cell signal. I get set up, I start working, and it's really nice. There's no like, internet distractions. Good morning, Hunter. Thanks for popping in. Appreciate it. So I was heading out there. I had a stack of products to do videos on. I think the stack got up to like 9 or 10 products that I have received that I have yet to record. And I was feeling good. I said, I can pound out a bunch of these. I can record a bunch. I can get them at least recorded, and then power through editing them as I can. Once they're recorded and I can edit them back at home, it's not as bad. It's gonna be one of them days. So I gathered all the stuff. I had a lot of it out there already. I had taken some out and already transferred the products out to the cabin. They were waiting there. I made sure I had the other ones. Rolled out there, felt great, got set up, started working, started recording videos, going through, and I got to about the third one, and I just like hit a brick wall. I was sitting there talking about I think it was a camp stove, and so how I usually sit down. The videos I'm making are short. They're a minute, 2-3 minutes long. It's not a ton of information, and I had thought through what I wanted to say, and I'm sitting there and I'm talking, and all of a sudden I'm just looking at the camp stove, and I'm like, wait, what? Sorry, guys. Sorry. Wow. I'm just looking at the camp stove. and my brain went blank. And I was like, holy crap, what just happened? So I muddled through that one. I sat for a minute. I kind of got a little warm. I was like, I think I hit my limit for the day. Struggled through a few more videos, saved some products. Like I wasn't under the illusion that I was going to get them all edited yesterday anyway. So wrapped it up a little bit early, sat for a minute, and I was like, holy crap. So it looks like I'm getting half days in. Rewilder Life says, yes, it hits fast. Good morning, Canadian Farmstead. You got the Chewy dog food ad. And Canadian, he also asked, I wonder what the mechanism is that causes the brain fog. It wasn't really brain fog yesterday. The brain fog cleared quite a bit. It was more that I was just exhausted all of a sudden. I was John Palmer, good morning, good day to you. It says, welcome to my world, just blank. It was more that I was just immediately exhausted. The brain fog was there. I was able to muddle through and record some more videos, but it was just like, I'm done. And that I don't like that shit. I like to work a full day or more. That's kind of how it goes. But I think this is going to be Rewilder Life says I get hit with exhaustion and dizzy. I didn't really get dizzy. I was sitting on the porch of the cabin, and all of a sudden I was just like, I'm done. I'm done. And it was early in the morning. It was not early in the morning. It was late in the morning. And then I think back and realize, I do get started a little bit earlier than most. So 11 o'clock is 6 hours or more than 6 hours into my day. And Rachel's been good for 2 days in a row. That's fantastic. Corey and I talked about it, and I really feel that I somehow got like 3 or 4 days behind her. Excuse me. Get 3 or 4 days behind her somehow with this sickness. And I don't really understand how that happens, how we lived in this trailer. I guess it's just that it took hold on her quicker than me, or somehow I staved off the sickness until a couple days later. But looking at how she felt the last few days and looking how I felt like a delayed couple days behind her, it looked like I'm maybe 2 to 3 days behind her in this cycle. So hopefully today is even better. I have an appointment with Sean Mills. We're doing our makeup appointment on not makeup as in doing makeup, but that would be an interesting event. Sean and I doing makeup with our beards. Canadian Farmstead says it's not a set number of days. You would think that, but it's really following the pattern. I started feeling shitty a few days after her. We've really just progressed. We've progressed at the same rate, just staggered off a few days. It's too coincidental through the whole thing, through the whole 2-week cycle or more, that it isn't that way. I get the fact that it's not a set number of days. I get the fact that everybody's different. But this has been like wholly consistent, delayed, and so hopefully today I'm doing better. Pip says working 9 to 5 today. Get it? 9 to 5. And John Palmer says talk about lipstick on pigs. Yeah, yeah, about that. So hopefully today goes even better. Sean and I are going to meet up early afternoon. I got some meetings with some folks later in the day, online meetings. So it's going to be a busy day, and it's all loaded at the end. So hopefully today goes well. So slow and starty, slow. Wilder Life says a little Dolly Parton in the morning. Yeah, did you guys watch 9 to 5? That was a movie, right? Did that end up being a TV show, or was it just the movie? I remember that when I was a kid. That was a popular movie. Must have been in the 80s. Jim says time to make a living. How? Excuse me. Man, I'll get there, guys. I'll get there. By the time you're used to listening to me cough all the time on the thing, I'll be done. So that's I think hopefully rolling into the weekend. Jim was singing. Thanks, Jim. I'm not surprised that you know that movie and song. You were probably already in your retirement phase by the time it came out. But I'm hoping today goes well. Tomorrow is going to be back to kind of our weekly routine where I'm going to head to town. I'm going to get all that stuff, the laundry, groceries, Lowe's run. And then we're going to attempt to Jim says an old joke. How original. You must know I'm feeling better if I'm digging on Jim about being old again. It's the easy pickings. It's the low hanging fruit, and I wanted to leave that there to ripen up while I wasn't feeling well, just for maximum impact. Gonna ahead and do the normal town stuff on Friday, so tomorrow, and then hopefully head out to the cabin for the weekend. We missed out. We missed out on our planned 5-day trip, which was really disappointing. I was really looking forward to getting a ton done, being on site, being out there for 5 days in a row, and being whole with my commitment to Tim. So I was going to be able to make progress on our stuff. Instead, I spent it sitting here coughing and feeling miserable and getting nothing done and feeling like I was getting behind. So hopefully rolling out there this weekend, I'll be able to split some time. We're in a new month here. I got a ton of stuff that I'm behind moving into SRF and Tim's trip down here, work days and all the such. So it's going to be busy. It's going to be busy, and hopefully it's a good weekend. Hopefully it's a good weekend and things go well. The weather looks like it's going to cooperate. Nice during the day and cool in the evening. It looks like it's going to be a good time. So I just want to talk about that. I think it's been a slow recovery. I'm taking it slow. Yesterday when I hit that wall, I wanted to push through it. I wanted to keep going longer, and I was able to convince myself to just stop, come home, do what I can do, and not push it, because I really can't battle this for any more time. Like I need to let it take care of itself. So we'll see. Beyond that, I had a couple things on my list, and then topics just kind of presented themselves. On the way home yesterday, I was driving along. Let me see if I can find this picture. So I've been counting Canadian farmsteads, wondering how I feel about Scandinavians. I have no opinion of Scandinavians. Jesus. Let me see if this picture will pull up. So I've been checking out around town. I've talked to you guys about the big elections coming up here in town this year. Is the mayoral elections. Sorry about the distraction, guys. The brain fog is still real. The mayoral elections this year, the alderman elections are this year in the small town I'm staying in. I can't participate because I'm not a resident, or nor would I because I just don't participate in the voting shenanigans. But it's a hot and heavy race in this town of like 500 people. There are a lot of strong opinions. There are a lot of factions that are battling in this race, and so they've all started putting out their yard signs. I'm used to being in a bigger area, or driving around. When I was a service tech in Minnesota, you drive to all the towns, and the political signs are everywhere. You usually got Canadian Farmstead's wondering how the fountain will get fixed if I don't get involved. That will be later on. I'll have to go to the board meeting and petition to get the fountains fixed or something. But anyway, you drive around, you see all the political signs in the yards, usually a variety of them everywhere. Well, right now around here, it's just the mayoral race. We got two candidates, so we got two signs, and they're everywhere. I don't understand the philosophy of spending a bunch of money for political signs, for yard signs, and then putting them every other house. So I assume that the theory is, if I have more signs than you, I win. I don't know if the visual recognition of seeing a sign every 40 feet changes my opinion of who I'm going to vote for. But I've been driving around town in doing my normal daily activities, and I've kind of been trying to keep a tally in my head about how many signs I'm seeing. And it's a really interesting dynamic of where in the town people have which signs. I think this is going to be a very, very, very decisive couple, or divisive. It's going to pit people against each other this fall here in town. I mean, it already has. If you pop into any of the local Facebook groups, it is a very very tumultuous time in the politics of small town Tennessee. Sorry. Canadian Farmstead says it's sign wars, and obviously neither are campaigning on being pro-environment. Hunter says, "Oh no, I gotta load my sats here." Hunter says it helps with people that don't care, name recognition. Jim said divisive is a word to describe politics. Divisive is correct. Yeah, I mean, so they have the signs everywhere. Some areas of town there are every other house is one candidate, the other, and then actually sections of town are completely one candidate, and I don't see the big pockets. Jim says squirrel. I was trying to zap myself. right here live on the Lots Project podcast. I'm zapping myself while you guys are watching and drinking coffee. So I've been observing all the signs go up. I think there is a popular candidate. I think there is. Jim says, "Is that for the vertical feed?" That's for the Nostr, the special Nostr feed, the private Jim feed, basically. At this point, I did get a couple comments a little late yesterday on the Nostr feed, so that was interesting. I got to figure out a way to promote that, and I haven't really got there yet. So, John says, "Sounds like OnlyFans." I mean, I think OnlyFans, when you zap yourself, people pay you, or that's the goal. Anyway, there are signs everywhere, and so I've been interested in these signs. Jim says, "I think hashtags bring eyeballs." Yeah, I think you might be right. And yesterday, when I went downtown to go out to Tim's, I came through town and there was a new sign. Actually, it was the other night, and I couldn't see what it says. Like, I was turning the corner and I was like, "Holy shit! There's this big sign. What does it say?" And it said something about voting. It said something about voting. I wasn't sure what it said, and so I told Corey when I got back, I said, "Hey, I got to check this sign out." I was turning the corner. I noticed it out of the corner of my eye. I couldn't quite catch what it said. I couldn't catch who it was for. I assumed somebody had paid for it and put it up. And so yesterday when I was driving through town to go get gas before I went out to Tim's, I was like, all right. And I look at the sign and I still couldn't tell who it was for. It just said something about bringing our town back. And I'm like, somebody said it up there, name recognition. Hunter says it helps with people that don't care name recognition. I think the key things with making a political sign, making a sign for your yard, making a sign for anything, is that when people see it, they immediately understand what you're trying to convey. They immediately... Canadian Farmstead says, "Make Hardin County great again." Just wait. Good morning, Blakesley Acres. Thanks for popping in. I think you really need to think about your sign, especially when it's going to be this large. When people see it, they should understand what you're trying to say. Pip says, "Vote Megatron." All right, I'm gonna pop this up here. So lucky for me, as I drove by and I couldn't understand what the sign was. I was like, "Oh, I'll check it out on my way back through town, on my way home." And I got to the corner, and it was actually a busy traffic day down in town. There was 2 or 3 cars all at the corner at one time, and a large tractor trailer trying to make the corner. So I wasn't able to quite pay attention to the sign again. Man. Hopefully by Monday, guys, you won't have to listen to that shit. I don't have a dump button. I can't mute all my mics all at once. Sorry. And so I had a lot to pay attention to at the corner, and I was trying to look at the sign. So Canadian Farmstead says most people will see the sign driving by. It has to be big writing and not a lot of it. Okay, I checked out the sign again. So this is the 3rd time I've seen it. And I'm like, I still don't understand who put it up, why they put it up, who they're promoting, what they're promoting. I was still confused. So I was going to be down. Canadian Farmstead says, in small words based on American education statistics. Fair enough. I that is fair enough. So I committed to myself that today I was going to go down. I was going to snap a picture of the sign, and I was going to show you guys this sign that I keep seeing that I'm like, I just don't get it. And lucky for me, I was doing some downtime, scrolling on the news, the local news, to try to find some show topics, and somebody posted the sign. So I downloaded it real quick, and I'm gonna put it up for you guys. This is the sign in our small town, right on the corner of downtown. It says, "Make Saltillo great again. Bring back our town. Please vote November 5th." And when I stopped and read it, I was like, now I get why I don't understand who it's for or who made the sign, because it's just a bunch of statist shit that they want you to vote. They don't give a shit who you vote for, just vote. John Palmer says it's working. It's making people look at it closer. No, it's not working because it has no message other than we want you to vote. Canadian Farm says vote for voting. I'm not sure the end goal here. Canadian says vote has your best interest at heart. I mean, you could at least put a paid for by the campaign of XYZ. Jim says this is the most important election ever, though, right? Yeah. Of course. Most important election of our lifetime. Bring back our town. I'm not sure who took it and where. I'm not sure who is running on the platform of bringing the town back. But this sign is in the middle of downtown. We don't care who you vote for, just vote. We need the numbers to hide the bodies. I don't know, but that's our local political sign there. Other than that, it's just a couple of the small yard signs with the two candidates mainly, and one other one other candidate for alderman has made up some signs too. So, Canadian Farmstead says vote with bring back the trolley and the farmers market. Yeah, bring back the trolley and the farmers market that we never had. That there was never. We're gonna put the sign up. Well, we'll vote to allocate money for a farmers market. We spent all the money on the sign and the shitty fountain. We ran out of money before we had the farmers market. So maybe we should have a community garden and have a community farmers market to raise money to finish the fucking shitty fountain that we put in our downtown. And we might have enough left over to put a trolley in. See? I solve problems. That's what I do. I definitely should run for office. Toolman Tim, supposed claimed anarchist, ran for town council or whatever they call it up there in the Northland, in Canada. He ended up losing. He was excited to run, and then he was scared he was going to win. But unfortunate for him, he did not get enough votes to win. Canadian Farmstead says, if you didn't have the farmers market sign, no one would realize there isn't a farmers market. I don't know. Sometimes you look at small town shit and you wonder. Well, I wonder And this was back in Minnesota too. You wonder if the people making it's all self-interest. Like the decisions people make that are in power in small towns have nothing about growing the town. From my experiences over the last decade, I guess. Be about decade now. It's kind of infuriating. Morning, K-Bonk. How are we doing? Thanks for stopping. It seems a lot. It seems like it should be a lot simpler than it is to make decisions that are going to be a benefit to small towns. It seems like the red tape and the bullshit should be easier to cut through. Canadian Farmstead says, in my town, the connected people live on a road because it's paved. Yeah, I mean, there is that. We went back to, I kind of follow the town we lived in Minnesota. I still follow it. I follow along a couple of people, friends, and some of the local businesses I still have on social media. When we were there, I've talked about the farmers market in that town and how ridiculous it is. The fact of the places they wanted to hold the market were it just didn't make sense for the traffic patterns and all this stuff. Now they actually had a farmer's market and didn't have any signs. So this was John Palmer says people in small towns want their towns to stay small. This isn't about growing. This is about the economics of the town. Like let's keep the town small. Let's bring money to the town, especially when you have a pass-through town. This is a pass-through town right here. The river is there. That's the draw. The boat launch that people die and drive into, that's the draw. People are driving through here. People aren't staying here. Same with the town I was in Minnesota. Was right on a major north-south thoroughfare. Fridays on the way to up north in Minnesota. If you've ever been to Minnesota or you heard anything about it, everybody exoduses the cities, the Twin Cities, and heads up north to their cabin every weekend. Whether it be ice fishing season, boating season, the land of 10,000 lakes, hunting season in the fall, and fishing in the spring. Almost every weekend, it's a line of traffic on the highway that splits the town we were in. That's a pass-through town. You need to get people to stop for a little while and spend some money. So how about we make decisions to have a farmer's market when people are heading north, where they have to cross the highway in both times, both exiting. There was no exit. It was like a turn lane. Let's put the farmer's market on the southbound side of the highway on a Friday night, when there were multiple locations on the northbound side. And this decision had no purpose. Let's think about this for a second. Let's maybe stand next to the highway on a Friday afternoon from like, it started at like 2:00 and ended after dark, and go, I wonder what all these people that are driving up to their cabins might need. Maybe to stop and have some dinner. Maybe have some food trucks. Maybe have some vendors and some farmers markets set up where maybe they're going to pick up their supplies and their food if they know it's going to be there. They know it's consistently going to be there every trip. They would love to stop and get fresh food on the way to their cabins. These people that are going to their cabins, specifically just north of where we were, had money. I watched the rigs they were pulling. I watch the boats, the RVs, the side-by-sides, the toys, the vehicles. Have them stop and drop some money in your fucking community instead of making decisions. And the logic for having the market on the other side of the road was that the assisted living facility folks couldn't make it across the highway to get to the farmers market to provide fresh food for the retirement folks. Subsidized assisted living, let me clarify that. So you have, and I don't mean to be a dick, but those aren't the people you want at your farmers market. When your farmers are struggling to get enough money for their product to cover their costs and make a little bit, we talk about the small time producers struggling to get the top dollar for their premium product, especially in small areas. You had a cash cow driving by, and you wanted to focus on the low income people. Hunter says, thanks for stopping and leaving your money. Please don't stay. What's wrong with that? We provide goods and services. You pay for those goods and services and you go up on your way. We have the space, the area, the land mass, the time to grow these products, to raise these animals. You don't. You live in a city. That's your choice. You're traveling by, and I provide you food and products. I don't think that's a hard concept. Rewilder Life says, "Oh, our farmers market takes food stamps." That was the big thing in Minnesota was getting them all hooked on the state food stamp, the WIC programs, and all of that, which is fine and dandy. They were charging the farmers markets to run the systems. John says, Brian for mayor. Fuck that shit. So right now I'm in a town that's a pass-through town where people are going to the river. I watch the boats. And some of the folks here, one of the people that I see here has a food truck. They during the summer set up down by the boat launch, which is brilliant. I mean, they should be. But what are you doing to draw those people in? And is that your focus? Maybe it's not. I don't know. That one restaurant downtown that's any good is fucking packed all the time. I tell you. There's an opportunity, not necessarily here. It's a very sparsely populated area, and I don't know. There's money here. It's not as prevalent as I've seen other places as I've traveled around. But it's here. You could do it. The town is resisting it. I've talked about it before since I've been here with the Little Red Shed. The insistence of beating down anybody that's trying to make a progress here. And not even and people or John Palmer said they want this to stay small. I'm not talking about growing the city or the town. Just bring some money in, and not through grants, and not getting in bed with the state and all the bullshit that comes along with this. That's the pocket lining bullshit. That's what's going on in this town, as far as I can see as an outsider looking in, and watching the people fight about their issues with no dog in the fight. People are lining their pockets, and other people don't like it. And it feels as though the people that don't like it will do the same thing when they get it. It's the same old. It's probably why I stopped participating. John Palmer says some people can't separate the two. That's true. Anyway, that's what I got out of the political sign. Vote, just vote. It don't matter who gets in. It's going to be the same old bullshit. So, they could vote for me, I suppose. They could vote for me. That's all right. They could write me in. I don't know if legally I could actually. I don't know if legally I could actually hold office here. Rachel says same BS, different town here. It was frustrating in Minnesota for sure. The fact that they wanted to have Corey and I run the farmers market when we had never even been a fucking vendor at one really showed you the state of organization in that town. And we've all heard the story of how the mayor ran her business and treated her customers. If you haven't, let me tell you, it wasn't good. Let's see. Yeah, that was the sign. On my way home after I saw the sign, though, I was driving along and I just saw a huge fire randomly in the woods. Kind of unsettlingly close to where we have our trailer parked. And the wind was blowing towards us, and I didn't see any sort of fire folks there. I couldn't see down in the woods enough to tell if there were people there managing this, if this was a wildfire. I don't know what was going on. It is severely dry here. It is drought conditions. They did put an impromptu fire ban last week, I noticed. They've lifted that since, but urge people to be careful. These flames were pretty big for being careful. I didn't get asked to evacuate last night, so I assume that it must be under control. Corey had mentioned yesterday morning that she had smelled smoke, like something was burning overnight. And I hadn't really smelled it. I'm still a little, I think I might've lost some smell, some smelling ability, with this sickness, unfortunately, and some taste stuff. I think I got a little bit of that symptom. But I smelled it last night for sure. I don't know. So I'm curious when I drive past again today if the fire has been suppressed. Jim over on Nostr says, breaking news, homeless man wins mayoral race with write-in landslide. I mean, if the people need a hero or they need somebody to blame, here I am. What is that? The Music Man? I come to town. I'll build you a monorail down to the. I'll build you a monorail to the river. So hopefully the town didn't burn down. Wind was blowing towards us away from town, so maybe it was a controlled burn. It was rather large if it was controlled burn for how dry it is, and I didn't see any like access roads. I got home, I popped up Google Maps and satellite. I didn't see any access roads back there. So I don't know if anybody even knew about it, but we do have the county fire department right here next across the street from us, and the town has a volunteer fire department, and neither one seemed very active yesterday. So maybe it was planned. What else did I have? I'm going to talk about the mattress shit another day. I'm going to leave that on the line. That's an old story that piques my interest every now and then. But let's see. Guys want to talk about school shooting? I made some interesting observations yesterday after the school shooting. if you didn't know, if you hadn't heard, there was another school shooting in Georgia yesterday. 14-year-old kid walks in, opens fire, 4 dead, 9 injured, I believe, is what came out. I don't dive too deep into them. It kind of it leads me down rabbit holes that I just don't need to be chasing when I start looking into the shit. And I posted some stuff in my group yesterday about, it seemed really early in the school year. And the kid also seemed kind of young to me. That was based nothing on a feeling, but based nothing, but on, I don't want to call it instinct, initial reaction, to hearing the news. I felt like the majority of school shootings that I recalled, that instant recall, were later in the year. We just got back to school. In one of the articles I read, they've been back for 5 weeks in this particular school, so they must have started at the beginning of August. It's shitty to say, but it usually takes kids longer to break than that. If they've had a summer away, the stuff that drives these kids to do this, if it's of their own choice, it feels like it takes longer for them to break again and go to the step of taking a gun into school and taking other people's lives. The kid was also young. 14. I feel like when you hear the ages, John Palmer says unless they go year round, that is a good point. It felt like the 14 seemed a couple years younger than normal. The FBI usually grooms them a little longer before they set them loose, I think, into their teens. And the fact that he didn't off himself, the fact that he didn't unalive himself when confronted, that is unusual. So the initial report, 14-year-old kid shoots up a school in the first week of September and they take him alive, none of it sat right in my head for some reason. For no other reason than just cumulative observations of the news for however many years I've been alive. I didn't have any data to support it. It hasn't been like I've been researching school shootings. It was just that's weird. So I started digging in. I'm like, I really should look into this. I'm curious if my initial reaction has any teeth with actual data. We have systems at our fingertips now that we can comb through piles and piles and piles of data, ChatGPT, things like that. And so I was like, well, I could take a few minutes and go and look and see. How many school shootings per month are there? Are there more in September? Are there more in April? Are there more in December? Like, is there a correlation? Ask ChatGPT to make a correlation. I was curious about election years. I was curious about time of year corresponding with election year. This is stuff that I would have never taken the time to dive into without ChatGPT to do this shit for me. I also was curious if ChatGPT would be willing to, with its parameters, whether it would be willing to talk about it. Would it be willing to give me the data I wanted, or am I going to have to jump through hoops to get it to reveal this data? I didn't get very far into the data before I was bored with it. It's not that important in my life. People lost their lives. That's just unacceptable. But people lose their lives every day, all day. More than 4 people tragically died yesterday. It just happens that these ones died in a well publicized event. think about it. More than 4 people died yesterday. Why isn't there? I mean, I understand that there can't be, but more than 4 people were murdered yesterday. So we pick and choose which ones are important. This isn't really something that I tried to dig into, but something piqued my interest when I asked ChatGPT. I was just trying to get a general like, hey, I don't recall a lot of September school shootings, and by the way, I was spot on. There were none. Well, let me preface that. I searched ChatGPT and asked something about the number of school shootings, and it said something to the effect that in 2024 there had already been 144 school shootings in the U.S. 144 school shootings in the U.S. so far this year, and I went, no. Wait a second. I know I don't watch the news. I know I don't stay up to date on all the things, the news and the mainstream media. But I'm pretty sure I would have noticed 144 school shootings. And so I looked at the sources. ChatGPT is kind enough to provide the sources, and it was all the typical Our Town USA and the Moms Against School Shooting, blah, 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 and all this. And so I was like, I said, hey, can you tell me what parameters you're using to qualify school shootings? And it was really telling what it said. The data that these organizations use for their school shooting data didn't really jive with me. Any gun-related activity on school property, whether that be in a school, at a facility, at a sporting field, anywhere that has the school's name on the ownership, K through university, and they're also qualifying it by brandishing, accidental discharge. It didn't matter if anybody actually got shot or a gun was actually fired. If there was a report of someone pulling out a gun, it's qualified as a school shooting event. And I was just like, wait, So I had to qualify my search, first of all. In case you're wondering and looking to in case you're wondering and you're looking into and you want to look into the shooting similar to yesterday, this was a mass shooting event. And like there's all these different qualifications and the terms that you have to use to actually dig into the data of what you want to dig into. There have been none. This was the first September mass school casualty event, I believe is or something like that. So my brain actually worked for once. First one in September. April is high on the list, and you would think that it's a lot of these, school related shootings as much as we talk about it. I searched back from 1999 when Columbine or 90 was Columbine in 99. I can't remember it was 90s. I started, that was my data point, was Columbine, because that kind of sparked the whole thing, if I recall right. That was in April. That was on April 20th. That was famously benchmarked on Hitler's birthday, through the folks that did it. April is a popular month, but as I was looking at the numbers, in 25 years, I think there's been it was a dozen or so, which is too many. I'm not saying that it shouldn't matter, because it isn't a lot. But the response, the outrage, it doesn't match how many it listed out to me. And I even went a step further and went, okay, well, let's not qualify by school. Let's add in like the one at the club there, Pulse. Let's add in the Route 91, the Vegas shooting we talked about a couple weeks ago. It's ramped up in the last 3 years, and I think there's probably a lot to do with a lot of mental issues stemming from the pandemic bullshit. It's still not a very common occurrence, but when it happens, the sky is falling. When it happens, it's sensationalized. And like I said at the beginning of talking about this, I'm not discounting the 4 people that lost their lives. I'm not discounting the 9 people that were injured. But how many people died in the state of Georgia yesterday? From car accidents, from natural causes, from whatever reason, murder. How many people died in Georgia? How many people died in the United States? We pick and choose our outrage. But they were kids. Go to Children's Hospital, man. Hang out in Children's Hospital for a month. Kids die every day. And not to be cold and harsh about it, but when there's an agenda, when there's a benefit, no crisis goes to waste. We see the response. I immediately felt that this seemed like an opportunity. It was the gut feeling that went along with, this is too early in the school year. This kid's too young. They took him alive. He wasn't committed, is what that tells me. These kids that go in and shoot up the schools and off themselves, they were on a mission. The kid that gets confronted immediately by a school resource officer and puts down his gun and says, I'll just spend the rest of my life in jail, I don't think he was committed. He will be committed. And so I said, this has got to be a gun control. There's going to be. Maybe it wasn't a cause of it. Maybe it wasn't a setup. Maybe he wasn't an op. Maybe it was like that's fine. But someone's going to jump on this shit. And before I could get the words out of my mouth, I went to double check that the kid was 14. Like it was relatively early in the information trickling out. And somebody I think it was Rachel, had asked how old the person was. And I said, I think it was 14, but I want to go check. I searched one article, and half of the article, I posted a screenshot of, half of the article was Joe Biden already making a statement about bipartisan comprehensive gun control. The bodies weren't even fucking cold. So did the 4 kids that died matter? Or was it just a conduit to get the fucking message out? Do they have these statements on speed dial? Joe Biden didn't fucking come up with this statement, this 7-paragraph statement, in an hour. He was probably licking his fucking ice cream, and they said, hey, Joe, this is what you're going to say in the news. Are they pre-prepared? And it makes you sound like an asshole, and it makes you sound like you're fucking crazy. But how immediately are they trying to capitalize on an event like this? Within hours. Reweiler Life said we had an 8-year-old boy hit by a car at the bus stop first day of school. And how many instances of that happened in the last month, in the last week in this country? Elections soon. FBI had him on their radar. Weird. Yeah, it was about a year ago. They interviewed him and his dad about threats he made. What's the point? What's the point of the FBI radar? It seems like everybody on the FBI radar ends up doing something. Obviously, their radar's picking them up, and they're just letting them go. I mean, I guess if you're a proponent of thought crimes. Hunter says when we were getting the FBI reports on these people, like not just, yeah, we interviewed him and when are we going to get the FBI reports on these people? Never. When are you gonna publicly put out all the incompetence that you have? I mean, it's disheartening to have to feel this way. I don't want to see a school shooting and my mind immediately go to thinking these things. That's not okay. But time and time again, when your mind goes there, you're proven right, or at least partially right, or at least suspected right. John Palmer says about 4,500 kids die a day in the U.S. Who's talking about the 4,496 other kids that died yesterday? The only ones that make the news are the ones that the news can benefit from. So you wonder how they find them so fast. And thank God, whoever is up there, Magic Man in the clouds, that they didn't have yonder bags in the fucking school yesterday. I would have alphabet agencies knocking on my door if for some reason the school had just instituted a cell phone free zone, and for some reason there was a delayed response because all the kids' phones were in these bags and hours earlier, that was actually my first thought. After Corey had brought that up, after Corey and I discussed it, and then I talked about it on my show yesterday morning, was this is bullshit. I'm going to get caught up in this. And then quickly I realized that I don't think that's the case. I haven't seen anything about that, but I'm like, what are the odds? What are the odds? I didn't have any prior knowledge of a school shooting, just in case anybody was wondering. So I don't know. It's a sick world out there. Sick world. And to stop and observe and take the emotions out of it. If you stop and objectively observe what happened, and you don't think about dying kids and all the images that they flash in front of you, the scared kids running out of the classroom, the stories of the text messages and the heroic events, and you think about it rationally, unemotionally, things present themselves that are kind of disturbing. But the emotional response is what they want. They want people to be outraged that 4 children were gunned down in a place they were supposed to be safe. How many kids are fucking abused on a daily basis in their homes where they're really supposed to be safe? Just makes you wonder. I'm wrapping it up. I didn't have any notes on any of that shit. It bothered me yesterday when I tried to look up stats, and they were initially so skewed, and the data sets that were being included, it's just been on my mind overnight. So anyway, thanks for looking that up, John. Yeah, 4,500 kids a day, man. It's sad. Nobody's going to talk about them. I hope that people find peace in all the kids that died yesterday, if it affected anybody, whether it be the school shooting kids or just a random kid that fell down and had an accident or got hit by a car on the first day of school. You think about that. I got pictures of my niece or my nephew getting on the bus the first day of school. I can't imagine the tragedy if a car had hit him. But life goes on. It's Thursday, guys, and not to leave on a bummer like that, but we're going to wrap it up today. We're going to I'm going to head out. I'm going to meet up with Sean. I got a bunch of other stuff to do today and some meetings. And it's Thursday. We're going to roll into Friday tomorrow. I don't know. Well, I guess the one thing on my list is conspiracy. Maybe we can dive into some conspiracy tomorrow. Look at the lighter side of the lighter side of school shootings. I don't know if I can find any school shooting conspiracy. I think there's a guy that talked about frogs being gay that ended up paying a shitload of money about talking about a conspiracy of a school shooting. So I don't know if I want to go down that road, but maybe we'll hit up some conspiracy or whatever else pops up tomorrow. I hope you guys have an awesome day. I hope you enjoy your Thursday and the weather is fantastic where you are. and you get a bunch of shit done. And we will catch up with you on Friday.
shining